Soviets and Soviets of the Red Army, how y'all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today we're actually going down to Division 2 for the SD Season 4 League. Over here to that lovely little map of Slutsk. And Rang, who are the belligerents and what do they have?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have probably one of the best names we've seen on a replay, Chunky Runky, playing as the 5th Panzer Division with a balanced income. On the right-hand side in red, we have ourselves Alt Fredrikov on Eldstat, whatever, playing 3rd US Armored with a Maverick income.
So looking at what we see over here, we kind of talked about before the cast got started, very standard 5th Panzer play, tons of Tigers as a potential, but against things like the upgun Shermans that we're going to be seeing over here on the 3rd Armored, how is that going to play out?
Yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, I think this match will come down to can Chunky Runky to survive your C phase, because the income advantage he's going to have in C phase will be lovely. And it's a pretty good map for using Panthers and Tigers, as it's pretty open range, and it's a pretty... I'd say the Panthers and Tigers have an advantage over the 76 Shermans in those battles, and yeah, we're seeing a pretty aggressive pusher up north, originally from I think some US Armored Rifle push, but they just got shot down by the PZ Grans, and down south we are seeing a very aggressive push here from all with engineers and even a good old fashioned off map.
You know, it's been kind of weird because we haven't seen a whole lot of off maps in our replays recently, at least the casted replays, which I've loved. I've loved seeing much more dependence or utilization more accurately of those mortars more than anything else. With the 105 though, I feel like, especially with 3rd Armored, you need to have that off map. The stovepipes are good, but I think the caliber of guns that you can bring on in from the off map is going to be even more, let's say, impressive, efficacious.
Yeah.
What's the term I'm looking for here?
Big boom.
Yeah, the big boom.
Yeah, the big boom. You can't go wrong with big boom, can? Well, I know what you mean. And also with like an A phase, B phase thrust division, off map artillery is always very favoured, because it allows you to make successful pushes effectively after the off map's been dropped, and it's also less supply trucks you have to buy to supply your artillery. I mean, the artillery is all the way somewhere on the right hand side of the map in the grey fog of war, and we don't care about they can supply themselves.
This is a different division. We don't worry about that
Yeah,
garbage.
yeah.
Talk to the quartermaster. Which leads to some rather amusing headcanon ways here. Now, we have had this Pack 40 to the north. It's been shutting down this approach. And really, like you kind of said, the question is, if Chunky Wonky gets knocked down, can he get back up again? So I'm not sure you can ever going to keep him down.
Yeah, I feel like for Ort, he's going to try and push heavy down south. If Ort can pretty much secure this entire southern sector before they end the B phase, I think he'd be in a very good position, because that's a lot of flags under control. And once you fully secure like the whole southern town area, it's almost impossible to take back. It's a huge pain in the ass from the left-hand side to try and get back to position.
So I'm watching these Pack 36s. The pop guns are surprisingly good against early 3rd Armored material. Of course, the M4A1s, the Upgun 76s and things like that, a little bit harder to penetrate, but quite good against the Greyhounds.
Yeah. And as always, a lot of half-tracks are going to have to shoot at as 3rd Armored, so good just having a few of those pop guns. You're seeing a second off map straight down south here, and as you see, Ort is pretty much doing this kind of creeping barrage motion. He's managed to get into the town honestly thanks to the first off map, and with the second run, he is once again leading the charge with mainly tanks. He doesn't have a lot of infantry, which is, to be fair, for 3rd Armored. You don't get a ton of them.
True, but it just seems kind of weird. Shouldn't it be Rangers leading the way?
Of course. Well, they're with the Indian head, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Now, in the meantime, looking over here, we're like, what can be done from the opposite side? Of course, you can call in a big cat. Big cat's always kind of terrifying, scary. We have P4s coming in here as well. One thing that we didn't really go too much into was actually the support side over here from Chunky. Not really the usual kind of Flammenwerfer rush that we might expect to see. We have a couple of them out, that's true. But not really this usual burst of speed. I
Yeah,
don't know if he's trying to keep those kind of in reserve for maybe like a late push or something like that, but then why would he take him in A?
yeah, it's very good. Yeah, very good point. Because usually see him being rushed in, immediately in a more aggressive position. But yeah, it's just using I feel like Chunky is just going to play more defensive early on, which does make sense of the income imbalance that he's up against. So might as well just try and hold your ground steady and try and overextend and lose a huge chunk of territory. And we've all seen the last off map down south, and oh no, I don't feel like Hort is gonna clear southern area anytime
No.
soon. I mean, you've got a bunch of earthsats being brought in, which will be enough to just, have mod bodies on the objective.
Yep. But this isn't 40K. Like, you can't go and just, like, throw a unit on there and be like, okay, guys, as long as you don't fail your leadership check, you're fine. Like, you got to actually have some staying power. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Especially when the only officers just got murked. So now we have a P-Shrek, a Pioneer, we have an Air Such Troopin against a lot of material.
Yeah, and the American material, as we know, is really well equipped. Infantry, all of the semi-automatic rifles, which gives them a huge firepower advantage over everybody. And as we know, Shermans are some of the best goddamn tanks in game.
Very true. Focke-Wulf coming down over here trying to retard any kind of progress by maybe throwing... I thought he was going to chuck some bombs, actually, at...
Same.
Pulled out the last second.
I was expecting kabooms, but he's just went zoom.
Tiger, in the meantime, there is a big cat on the field. I'm not sure if he's trying to engage. Yeah, there's going to be that command Sherman on the hillside. This is going to go very poorly for him.
So as we all know, the Tiger should at least kill 5 Shermans before going down. So that's a very good investment, yeah, from Chunky Runky.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, got to make sure you call in jumbos or at least an easy 8 or something, but it's not going to happen here.
Oh, we've seen 2 jumbos actually being brought in.
Oh yeah, near to the back though. I mean,
Gonna take a while to get to the front.
Exactly.
I do like how for the Americans, like, okay, we need to build a heavy tank for, an assault. We need to attack heavily fortified positions. Okay, let's just get our Sherman and we're just gonna put even more armor on it. And it worked. Wasn't even that dumb of an idea. It worked really well.
But that's the thing, though, too. I mean, like, in the American way, we didn't design something new. We just said, okay, I'll take a bigger combo.
Yeah. It's just, are you telling me that the Emperor Sherman is essentially just a Big Mac, but of all the different types of Big Macs you can get?
Dude,
is
it's
it
like
like
the
double
biggest
Big
Mac. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Special
Holy
sauce
crap.
and everything, man.
It makes so much more sense now.
That's why the maintenance is so poor on it, too. We don't like exercising. We're Americans, man.
Yeah, and the M3, sure, it's just like a Happy Meal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a kid's meal. You're absolutely right. And that's the toy you get with it. So.
Wow. Dude, I wish
or
they'd give me sure my Happy Meal, just saying. Not the general, but the light tank.
I was gonna say that's a very controversial choice here by generals. Give me a Stewart. You want a traitor? In the meantime, though, so Tiger continued to kind of prowl around here just to the north of the water, because cats hate water.
Yeah.
And he's at a cause. He's gonna be a bugbear for here and there, but he's not gonna do a whole lot more than just kind of occasionally loft shots down at this bridge. I think I'd be more terrified as the Americans if he called in another 2 or 3 P4s. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so much you can really do with the Tiger down south, as if you're smart with it, you're not going to push it heavy into the town, you're just going to use it to stay back and pick off any Shermans which get into your line of sight. And Ort is pretty smart with his Sherman placement for the most part, and he's keeping them all hidden from the scary Tigers.
One thing I'm a little confused about, actually, is the infantry investment from Chunky Wunky. He's got 4 cards of infantry over here in A, and one of them is Air Such Troopin. So not for nothing, I feel like he should be maybe planning a little bit later here. Drop one of those, maybe drop one of the P-Grunts, just the flat P-Grunts, just actually shift him into Phase B, get a little bit more power. Because you're not going to win the infantry fight early on.
No, but to be fair for Chunky Runky, he will win the attrition fight for infantry, as he will just have more bodies overall. So
yeah, that's fair.
I feel like if he can, like, for Chunky, I mean, he is losing by a +1 advantage right now. But if he can just hold at a +1, I mean, they're already in B phase. Another 10 minutes, he's going to have double income advantage almost.
True, but when now we have 3 M475 mills
Oh, yeah.
coming on in. We
And
have...
the 2 Jumbos.
Yes.
Like, the Tiger
Exactly.
can't kill Jumbo. The Panthers can kind of kill Jumbo. But you just cannot kill Jumbo unless you really have a Pack 43 gun.
Or Shrek.
Or Shrek. Shrek's also work.
Yeah, exactly. Just basically call Mike Myers up to the front. We're all set to go, man.
But yeah, those Jumbos are just completely scary units, all things considered. I think it has more armor in the King Tiger.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, which really puts the Germans to shame in a way. You have to spend 70 tons or so to get all this heavy armor. Yeah, of course that does have a bigger gun. When the Americans just got that same tank and, like I said, just slap more armor on it and call it a day.
Now, I'm trying to call to mind any kind of maintenance levels between the... Did the Jumbo have more mechanical issues because of the
Yes.
increased weight? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I knew that was a thing, but I mean, I don't think they really use the Jumbos like, crazy amounts for pushes. It's mainly just like initially for dealing with heavily in place positions. They only had like 250 of them roughly. There wasn't a whole lot to maintain.
Fair enough. Now, we are getting troops debarking for a ground assault here down to the south, trying to push out the last vestiges of Chunky Wonky's troops from the town.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to do something because he's down 15-9 now.
Yeah, this is going pretty well for, and also is very close really to taking this entire southern town side. I mean, he almost has the hill completely. I just feel like he needs a bit more infantry to come in and finish up the job. But we are seeing off map here from the Chunky. It's not in the best position, but of course we have God vision, so we can judge these things.
Well, we also have a Panther G coming on in, so that's going to be more to push back the Jumbos. The Jumbos cannot pen the other direction, so we might see some kind of HP kill, but it's not going to be very easy.
Yeah.
Looks like Krupp Steel might hold up to the worst that the Americans can throw at it for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of fascinated to see what happens to this M4 in the town. If that gets pressured down, there's a chance for this ersatz push to maybe take a little bit of ground. Not a lot, of course, just a touch.
Yeah, he just needs to get the flag. Just really needs to get the flag. Up north, there, we're actually seeing a push here from Chunky. Just a few hours out to Panzer 4. He's going to try and get out one little farms side, which is held by one little flamethrower guy. He's probably not very happy with his current predicament, I would guess.
Probably true. Question really is, if that Command M4 goes down, actually I think the entire north might fall to the forces of the Blue Reich here, so...
We are seeing a Jumbo being brought in up north, and that will be a pretty good brick wall against really anything.
Yeah. But the engineers, of course, going down very quickly because one does not face a P4. One does not simply face a P4 and live.
No.
Down to the south, in the meantime, Focke-Wulf going after this retreating P-51. You're not going to catch that, dude.
Nope.
And the Panther G is asserting itself down to the south, being screened by a Tiger, which is one of those things that you never really expect to hear.
Yeah. As you'll see, we have a lot of heavy armor investment here from Chunky Runky down south, but like I said before, he really can't do too much of it. He can stay in the outskirts of the town and pick off whoever comes his way, but not like he's going to be able to use them effectively in a town push. I think one of them would be much useful in a northern push to try and secure it long-range engagement.
I was completely checked out for a second. You mean one of the Panthers or the Tigers?
Yeah, just one of them
Oh,
up
absolutely.
north.
Absolutely.
As we always know with the up north push, I mean, it's always a scary area to push because there's no cover, but 5th Panzer really does have the long-range anti-tanks, less tank advantage in this scenario. So bring a powerful to you. What are they gonna do?
I am a little bit surprised that Ortfiné over here is bringing in as much of this artillery as he is. I thought he'd be using a little more offensively, and I'm not sure the placement here is really that great. Again, I know we have God vision. I really want to stress that, of course, as always. But the positioning, you've got to know that dropping it anywhere close to that bridge isn't really area denial. You're wasting some of the firepower that you're going to be getting from the artillery.
And he only has, I believe, like 3 of those off maps. Yeah. Oh no, he has 4 off maps.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah.
So that gives him 12 off map call. Yeah, 12 off map call-ins in general. So he still has a few more up his sleeve, and that's definitely going to be very important later on as he starts to run out of guys. And one of them, it actually killed the Panzer IV, so I think it killed the Panzer IV. Maybe it was the Jumbo, but either way, it's a dead tank.
It certainly is. I'm actually surprised by how much German air power we're seeing here.
I think he's meant to kill one of the Jumbos already just with air power. Or a good side shot, because that's a very good way to deal with those Jumbos. 5th Panzer does not have a lot of air power to begin with, but using them to try and knock out those big bloody heavy tanks is really his best bet. And yeah, he's pretty much using like all of his Fokker rush right now, and it is working out. He does have the aerial advantage.
I think he really could be strafing this bow first. He's got to have some kind of vision on it, I would think.
Yeah. That P-51 is just way too fast. I mean, I guess
I
call that a Mustang for a reason.
Looking at the town foot over here. It's kind of so much stuff going on here. I'm forced to take such a wide angle view.
Yeah.
Just driving some of our viewers that are out crazy out there. Armored rifles are going to try to hold things back for the moment, but there's some really interesting flanking going on here. We have Pioneers coming in with a Flammenwerfer going around, and there's just enough of a gap, or rather just enough cover, that it's allowing very successful aggression.
Yeah. These Pioneers are pretty good CQC troops as things to bundle grenade things. Well, of course, Ort can reply back with satchel charges of his engineers. Yeah, it's a pretty good push here from Chunky Runky. I mean, we're almost into C phase, and he is starting to push back already, so that's good for him. He still has all of his heavy tanks still alive, which is, even though he hasn't managed to do much of them, at least he hasn't lost them, because you can't really afford to lose heavy tanks in general.
Now, the thing that has to happen, though, he's got to rotate some more anti-tank or something up to the north. So you can see right now, they're slowly trying to build up at least this tiny little push to go after the ersatz position.
Mm-hmm.
And super lucky the engineers got out just barely in time. And even then just lost 30% of their unit.
Yeah. Yeah, Pike 40 is in a really handy position here.
Here comes a push, by the way. So we have 3 Flammenwerfer squads. We have a P-Grunt, we have P4. Yeah, this is the Kampf group going in. That's definitely going to try to push and take back that town. So look to see another artillery strike. We should have one more call in. Wait, did he go down?
I think so.
The off-map went down, jeez. Okay.
I think Chunky's off-map is no longer on the map. Well, it's on the map, but blown up.
Well, you know, he's just,
Rise, it's off.
Trying to live up to his name being the off-map, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but oh my god, we're gonna have not 1, not 2, but 3 jumbos in the southern town. And oh no, actually I think the Panthers at close range can actually kill the jumbos.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's still a risky proposition. Same thing with the Tigers, I believe, but still a risky proposition.
Ooh, actually the Pak-36 has a potential as well. It's not great. But remember, he's got those heat shells.
Yeah,
he's just barely out of range. But you know what? Stress is still good.
Mm-hmm.
The second that Jumbo even remotely turns, he's going to get... Well, it ain't going to be pretty.
Yeah. How much side damage does a Jumbo have? It has 90, which is... I mean, not enough to survive a Tiger shot, of course, but still pretty respectable.
I'm sorry, I was watching as the 4 Fokker wolves kind of just started swarming. It was like watching piranhas.
Yeah. I do like how he does bring them all out at the same time to overwhelm the AA defenses, rather than just bringing them in one at a time. It's usually a mistake we see a lot when people use air power, because you just lose all your planes one by one, which is never good. You want your planes to be in the air, not on the ground.
Exactly, and it's one of those things, like, again, I feel like you do lose air cover for a bit of time, and frankly, looking at Chunky Wunky, he hasn't called in any of his anti-air.
He has not.
Literally none of it, which is amusing at the same time, completely understandable.
Yeah, there's really been no airplay from Ort's side. I mean, he does have some P-51 and B-26 ground attack planes, but he's opting to go for the jumbo push, which makes sense because those jumbos are definitely more of a continual threat. One of them does go down here. I think I'm having a feeling that was a side shot from the Tiger. I think it was just barely the angle or the Panther.
I'm not sure. I was looking over here at the deck for half a second just to kind of see if we're going to get any kind of artillery, because there are some howitzers over here. In fact, there's some rather hefty howitzers we could be seeing. Nothing just really being utilized too much. But you can see to the north, there's actually, you got your Tiger to the north. He's prowling around. That command tank knows he can't go anywhere near that.
Yeah.
But there is an M5 being brought on in, so that 76 mil should be more than enough.
Yeah, and the northern side is a really good position where Ort is for anti-tank guns. He has so much shrubbery where you can decide to put that sneaky anti-tank gun.
Now, there still remains one command tank down to the south that's keeping a lot of that German infantry from really being able to successfully hit the town overall, but it was 13-11 just for half a second there for Chunky Wunky, getting the first couple of tickets off of von Eidelstadt. And not for nothing, I feel that's such an important kind of psychological moment in any kind of play.
Yeah.
Being able to be like, you know what, I'm gaining a little bit of tickets off of you. So he's been taking body shots the entire time. I think it's still a bit of a victory here for him.
Yeah, it's just where things get stressful for Ort because he's no longer in his element. He's down income by quite a lot, and he really has barely any C-phase cards in his stack at all, so he's just gonna have to hold until relieved. But first thing he needs to do is capture a flag or two so he can continue that points bleed.
Well, in the meantime, ground attack Focke-Wulf takes out a Sherman.
Yeah.
What do we have left? Okay, so 2 engineers here.
I do want to take a moment to appreciate, if you just zoom in on the southern town where all the off-map artillery craters are, it just looks like goddamn hell down there. Like, all the cars are destroyed, it's blown up tanks. I mean, there's enough...
The town's gone.
Yeah. You know, it's enough craters to rifle the moon.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's so much destroyed Russian agricultural equipment.
Isn't that really the most important thing?
I mean, they really need it.
That is quite true, and you can see actually the artillery strike going the other direction because Lord knows we have to be even here.
Yeah.
So the question is, can they successfully push east enough? And I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be just enough time's going to be wasted.
Yeah. You know, if he can capture the rest of that hill, I mean, he does have a lot of infantry here. His armored rifles and engineers, it might just be enough, but he doesn't have any tanks backing him up in that push, which would be pretty vital in killing the Tiger and Panzer IV. Yeah, he's so close to capping up the entire southern hillside, but does not seem to be the case now. We got counter off-map artillery from the Chunky.
I am a little... Oh, he's got some random amphibious assault he's planning here. Not for nothing, I think this is where things have just turned. Kind of like bad cheese, this has turned, because now we have the SK-18s coming on in. That's the 100mm artillery positions. That'd be more than enough to push back the people in the south. In the north, I don't know that there's really any third armored stuff that can really be successfully brought in. He's bringing in BARs. Okay, one of his few remaining kind of reinforcements here. That and the 20 M1919s. But I don't know about you. I don't think it's going to be enough to keep heavy tanks from taking me out either. So
does have that 76, and he is getting it into a position to shoot the Tiger, and doesn't have the best chance at long range, I think. Oh no, he actually. Oh,
He puts it on range. He puts it on target.
I think yeah, he's using APCR shells at long range, so they don't really have the armor penetration. Getting some criticals. Alright, I would kind of risk he would have moved it into the heavier forest first before shooting, because he has opened himself up to counterfire. If the Tiger could see, but the Tiger cannot see.
No, the Tiger can see. Tiger's shooting back.
Oh, no. Up north or down south?
Oh no, down south. He's engaging.
North.
Oh, okay, I was up with the south one.
Oh.
Tiger V76 mil, and actually the one up to the north is being engaged too. No, the one up north is engaged in the command. The command tank. But I believe the other Focke Wolves are coming in to give it a nice little greeting of several thousand kilograms of bombs, or several hundred kilograms of bombs. Yep, that's going to go down.
Yeah, that's how you deal with in position, but the P-51 does shoot down an airplane. Which is pretty good.
Yes, a single airplane, and he's got to get out of there now, though.
Oh no, he's getting cocky.
He's dead.
Really
he's
cocky.
Dead. What? Okay. This is a very curious thing.
Dude, it's Red Ring's okay.
Yeah, but I just... It's one of those yap up moments, and yeah, anyway. Chunky Wonky, I think this is going to be the beginning of the end of his southern town dominance.
Yeah.
Wow, I had that backwards. Eilstadt. Yes, Chunky Wonky's been pressured down. Yes, a lot of his troops are pinned. But you can see him right now. He can't take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot take advantage of it.
His engineers and armored rifles there's just not really enough of him to... I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Panzer Grenadier in front, saving the other Panzer Grenadiers.
And that's why,
slow him down if you want to do the push. And they also have all the armor down south here, with the Tiger and the Panzer IV. I did like how he moved them back. He got on across the river, then moved them back in a more defensive position, rather than slap bang the middle off map.
Well, that's the right position.
Yeah.
In the meantime, are we going to get the German infantry? Ooh, the German infantry's not going to get out in time. But the necessary stuff has died. So even if the German infantry gets completely pounded into the dirt and forced back down, he's gotten that flag.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten the flag, and that's the important part here.
The C2 is just a giant game of capture the flag, really.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Imagine if war was actually like where it's just about holding flags. I mean, I guess it kind of is.
It's like Napoleon was
yeah,
kind of like that.
Like back in the day, or you have regimental flags. You got capture flags and eagles.
I think we need to make a return to that. You know, maybe just do like a pistols at dawn kind of thing. Whoa, 15-9. That was a very quick switch.
Oh, that was, yeah, I guess it's up north and in center. He's just making... And
not
down
even so
south.
much that. It's the half track is the only thing on the southern side now. That's going to get cut off in a second. It's technically a Pac 36 has been there pretty much the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And now the last of the major, let's say, threatening tanks are starting to find themselves either pinned down or critted out.
Yeah, it feels like Ort is running into his attritional problems of being a Maverick income deck.
Tiger gets taken out by artillery.
Huh. Classic.
Well, the tanks can't do it. Something's got to.
Mm-hmm.
And here's an important bombing run. Focke-Wulf coming on in. If he can pressure and take out this, at least stress it. Okay, successful stress.
God, the southern town is even more craterous than before. Like, it's mainly just craters now. There's barely any actual field or houses.
I kind of wonder if there was going to be any kind of houses or fields. I mean, no strawberry fields, that's for sure.
No.
The SK-18's finally going to get into the fight here. I think they're firing for the first time. First time? Second time. Nope, first time. It's always weird for me. They have exactly 46 HE and 4 AP. But there's now basically one tank that needs to die, the M4A176, and after that, I think it's pretty much going to be out of reach. Yep, Eilstadt basically says, you know what, guys? I know what I'm beat.
Yeah, he did his best, and it did not work. And looking at the KD, it's pretty heavy for Chunky Runky. Like 1,300 disadvantage.
I mean, there still are some standouts. We see
Oh,
Fuller over here picking on a lot of infantry, you big bully. Gaines picking on some tanks and light vehicles. But when it comes right down to it, I imagine we're going to see, yep, Pack 40. That was the guy in the middle.
yep.
So he was protecting that airsats troop in position over there to that central position, that central part of the map, very successfully. P4 picking up a few kills. A Tiger down south. That was Mark. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ground kills with a gun. So
See, if Ort just had a 6 Sherman, he would have killed Mark. Oh God,
yeah,
the classic
you know what?
strategy, man. Like it's foolproof.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I don't know how he didn't bring in more Shermans, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I hope people aren't realizing that are being serious about the whole myth of the 5-to-1 KD ratio of German heavy tanks. As we all
Thank you.
know, it is kind of bollocks.
Thank you very much, Death Traps, for helping us understand that.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yes. Oh.
But in any case, folks, as always, you know we love having you guys around for this. Thank you so much for all the support and love you kind of give us to this our particular channels. But Rang, any final thoughts or ideas you want to share with the good people at home?
None really. I hope you guys are enjoying how we're including the decks in these videos now. Just gives us a little bit more information and you guys information in, what the people are actually bringing.
Exactly, and that's kind of the point behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking outside of that, of course, I guess if you have nothing further, sir, I guess until next time, folks, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.